and welcome. Now, this is the first time I've done a Zoom live into Facebook, and we are just going to do the best that we can here. So if you see any glitches, we'll work it out and it'll get better and better each single day that we do this. So you can comment in the Zoom chat, or you can also be on Facebook and you can comment there. There's some people, I was only going to do lives into Facebook, then I had some messages from people, Polly, I'm not on Facebook, can we please do the Zooms? I'm like, okay, we'll work this out. Anyway, I got banned last week from Facebook doing lives because we were testing this out, so I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go. Anyway, we got it happening. All right, welcome and welcome to Watch Me Shine. I want you to sit with that just for a minute and say to yourself, watch me shine. Doesn't matter who's around, who's looking, who really cares? They've all got their own crap going on. What does it mean to you for you to shine? Just sit with that for a moment. I don't need any answers. I don't need you to write anything. Just what does the version of you look like that is shining? Okay, so watch me shine. That's what this week is all about. I want you to shine. I want you to start showing up as the shining version of you. Now, who am I? For those of you that have never been to one of my trainings before, thank you so much for being here. A lot of you already are some type of client with me, either in the My Body, My Way or in my Facebook group, or are working with me in one of my amazing programs. Sorry, there's a jet flying over. Now, I live in a small town in Katherine in the Northern Territory, and I came across Bob Proctor about 7 years ago. So Bob Proctor is my mentor, and he has been now for the last 3 years or so. He did pass away early February. However, his work still lives on. It's not going to go anywhere. And what I've learned over the years is that the secret of the ages are wrapped up in books, and the knowledge is in books. And I study and work with a lot of people that are no longer here through their books, through their teachings, through that many things of those. So it doesn't matter that somebody's not here anymore, because their information is out there, their energy is still present. So I came across Bob about 7 years ago when I watched the movie called The Secret. I'm sure a lot of you have watched it. If not, maybe you should get on Netflix. It is free on Netflix. You can watch it. Now, The Secret didn't really tell you the secret, though, because they were not allowed to talk about vibration. They were not allowed to talk about energy. They could only talk about certain things, which is why a lot of people said, no, I'm not going to be on that show. So they did filter it a lot, and they did take out a lot of the information that was really valuable for all of us. I don't leave any of that out. I tell you everything. I give it to you straight, and I want you to have a breakthrough this week. So I started working with Bob Proctor and his team, and teamed up with him 3 years ago, and I did a thing called the paradigm shift, which is ultimately what I work with people to do, is create a paradigm shift in their life. Now, a paradigm is your multitude of habits. It's your conditioning, the program that you work with. Now, that program is only going to get you so far. We need to upgrade the program, just like we upgrade our phones and do things like that with those every so often. We have to upgrade our own programming if we want to have a different result in life. And that is what a true paradigm shift is a program upgrade. So this is what I want for you over the next 5 days, is for you to upgrade your programming so that you can start to bring into your physical world the manifestation of what you want. Manifesting is just taking something from your mind, an invisible picture, like invisible to the world, but only you can see, and bringing it into the physical. Okay? So when I teamed up with Bob and I did this thing called a paradigm shift, I wrote, I'm going to be one of Bob Proctor's top consultants, and I'm going to be in his top 1%, and I'm going to be in his inner circle, which I achieved in that first 15 weeks, mind you, in a small town in Katherine. So when people tell me, oh, I don't know if I can make it because I'm only in a small town and I can't do this because, and they give me all their circumstantial evidence, I say bullshit, because there is no stopping you except the belief system that you have. and the stories you keep telling yourself. So today, decide that you're going to start telling yourself a whole different story. All right? Take your beliefs or those that are holding you back and just use your imagination and put them into a box and leave them somewhere and say that I'm coming to this as an open book and I'm ready to write a new story for me, because the old story is not going to cut it here anymore. We want you to upgrade. You've got to be able to go, yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so we have some success maximizers to help you here. So we've got Maggie, we've got Vicky, and we've got Claudia that are going to help you through this. Now, every evening at 7 o'clock, there is going to be a Zoom room open, this same Zoom, for you to come in and do your workbooks with them. Ask questions to get a deeper understanding. I want you to have a breakthrough. I want you to be able to go home every single day, or if you're at work or be at home or whatever, and be in a different energy. And I want people to notice that about you. I want them to see you shine. I want you to stand up and say, watch me shine, because look, I'm going and working on me, because nobody else can work on you. You can only work on you. Now, I texted every one of you and asked you to write to me, I commit. Some of you just sent me a love heart. A love heart's not going to cut it. You have to commit. Okay, so if you haven't written to me and said, I commit, I suggest you do it now, because it's your commitment that's going to tell your subconscious mind, we are changing. We are doing something different. But if you're just going to send me a love heart, I know that you're not really in it to believe in yourself. I'll just see how this pans out. Well, that's the results that you're going to get, maybe out there in the future. So you've got a workbook that's in your Kajabi app. If you have any trouble finding that, please reach out to one of those ladies, Vicky, Maggie, or Claudia. This group is your group. You have no restrictions in here. You can go live, you can post, you can do anything in this Facebook group. It is all here for you, as long as it's positive and it's uplifting, or if you're stuck, ask a question. You have access to me. You can message me and you can ask me questions if you want to, and I will answer. Don't you worry. And sometimes the answers aren't maybe what you want to hear, but I will be honest with you. If you text me and say, oh, circumstances in my life are happening at the moment, so I can't turn up, I'll be like, well, are you going to learn how to create the circumstances that you want, or are you going to keep living with these circumstances that hold you up? This is all within your control. Everything. You control the circumstances in your life. Now, a lot of it at the moment is working subconsciously for you. It is just it's like a movie that just doesn't stop playing. And if you look at your results over the last 10, 20, 50, 60, however long you've been on this planet for, and if you broke it down into a pattern, you will find the pattern. If nothing has changed for you in the last 10 years and you have not doubled your income and created a different life for yourself, that program's in control, not you. And it is subconscious, so you're not going to be aware. Just be open to that. Okay, so this group is yours. Come in and do whatever you want in there. Replays will be in Kajabi. They will also stay in the live feed of Facebook group as well. But the thing is, it is only here until Wednesday next week. We are human beings and we are born procrastinators. Doesn't matter if you say, no, I make decisions quicker than I ever have before yet, but you'll still procrastinate. So this all comes down on Wednesday. That's so you put a bit of urgency in to get this done. Because if I say it's up here forever, it'll take you forever to get it done. So you've got until Wednesday next week to watch it and do the work. Now, repetition is the key to any change. You think about it when you're a little kid, and you just got to see little kids today when they're crawling and they want to walk. They pull themselves up on couches, they'll take a step, they fall down, they get up and they do it again and again and again until one day they're running. Now you're walking, riding bikes and doing all sorts of different things. That didn't happen because you sat on the ground and just let it happen. It happened because you took action and you attempted until you got it going. It's the same with anything in your life. Understand that. Okay, the biggest thing that you need is a pen workbook, piece of paper, whatever works for you. And today we're into imagination and creation. Now, your imagination does create your reality. A lot of the time, we're imagining what could go wrong, and that's what we create. I bloody imagined that I was going to get a speeding fine, and I actually got pulled over. And then I changed the circumstances, because when I got pulled over, I'm like, hang on a moment, you've created this. Quickly decide that you're not going to get the speeding fine. Just decide that you're going to get a warning. And I got the warning. But that is because I created it. And I have become a subconscious creator. Because as soon as I think something, I just embed it straight in my subconscious mind, and it's happening. And I let go of the roadblocks. There's still some work I've got to do, and I'm not afraid to say that. Because if I was done and I knew everything, well, I probably wouldn't be on this planet anymore, because I don't think we ever get this done. And like Bob Proctor, he studied this for over 60 years, and he said he's only just scratching. Sorry. We've got to work out a way to make people can't unmute. So, imagination. Today, at the moment, I want you to get your pen and your paper. And you're going to write at the top of your piece of paper, I am a multi-millionaire. I am a multi-millionaire. And I want you just to sit there and read that to yourself. I am a multi-millionaire. And how do you feel? You have to tell me, or you can tell me in the comments. You can put the chat up. I am a multi-millionaire. How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Where does it stir in emotion? Is there a feeling in your body that goes, holy shit, we are not? Or I really want to be one. Or I already am one, but I want to be a billionaire. If that's you, write down you want to be a billionaire, because that's what I wrote. And that's what I'm working towards. I am a multi-millionaire. Now, there's a force that's coming to and through you. And it could be God in your eyes, it could be spirit, it could just be energy that created the world, the solar system, the whole lot. But its name is I am. And whenever you say I am, that is what you will ultimately become. So I'm sick and tired of my life. Well, you'll be sick and tired. I am so happy and grateful. You'll start to feel happy and grateful. Now, today we're going to set a goal, or you're going to set a goal for you. And it's going to come from that place that I'm a multi-millionaire. Because what most people do is that they set a goal, but they set a goal that's in line with their circumstances right now, with how much money they've got in their bank, what they think they can achieve, and maybe a little bit better than what you've got going on right now. So I want you to sit with this feeling that I am a multi-millionaire, and what sort of life would you want to be living? Who would you want to be? What would you want to have? What are the things that you'd like to be doing? With no regard to how. Because when you were a little kid and you decided that you wanted to walk, you didn't know how that was going to happen. But every day you committed to attempting and attempting and attempting until you got it done. And that's all you have to do with any goal. I am so happy and grateful is the best place for you to be in. So, I am a multi-millionaire. What sort of goal are you going to come up with? Now, when you set a goal and you start imagining this, because it has to become an obsession to you. You can't just go, oh, yeah, it'd be really cool if I could drive a Ferrari. And then all day you talk about how shitty your car is at the moment, or it keeps breaking down. I'm so sick of getting it serviced, or I'm blah, 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 whatever you're on about. Because the number one rule in manifesting is if it will not be a problem when you have reached your goal, it cannot take your attention now. And this is where most people lose it. This is where they lose what they're manifesting, is because circumstances are picked up by your senses. Your see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. You can see that the car's billowing smoke, and you can see that it's breaking down. You can feel when you started it doesn't feel right. I'm just making up things here, mind you. And so you can use this in any regard whatsoever, but your senses will pick this up. Can you turn off your senses to that and go, okay, this is not going to be a problem in my goal. It is what it is. And I refuse to be emotionally involved in it. So I want to be a multi-millionaire. You look in the bank account. Well, the money's not bloody there, and I can't afford to pay this, and I can't do this, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, you've just killed that dream. Now you've got to work on it again to get back up there and get into that energy. Will you, looking at your bank account when you have $1 million in the bank, will it cause you to feel that negative emotion? Will it cause you to whinge and bitch and moan about how much electricity is? Will your life be a lot different to what you've got going on right now when you have $1 million in the bank account? Can you not put energy into what is? Because when you have a goal and it is bigger than you've ever done before, you have no idea how to get there. Circumstances are going to turn up that are not in harmony with it. Can you turn off your senses to that and stay focused on what you want? I know you can, but are you willing to? And these are the two questions that you ask yourself when you're setting a goal. You can't set a goal and you cannot stay focused on a goal when you're forever looking at what is right now. Because when you look at what is right now, that is creating a picture in your mind. Now, whatever picture you have got going on in your mind, you are creating again, or for the first time, whichever way you like to play it. So if you're looking at what is, you are recreating the circumstances that you've got going on right now. So if you're looking at the bank account and there's not $1 million in there, Polly, then and you've got that emotion going on, like, well, whatever it is that you say to yourself when you open your bank account and there's not enough money in there, you've got to ask yourself, will this be a problem at my goal when I've got $1 million in there? No. Okay, so what energy will I be in? Because everything is energy. Everything is mindset first, strategy second. You can get your mindset from the inside, or you can get your mindset from the outside. I like to work from the inside out. 95% of the world work from the outside in. The economy is bad at the moment. Interest rates are going to rise soon. The banks aren't giving out loans very easily. I have all these excuses from people when they say, oh, I want to get this house, but the banks aren't giving out loans very easily. I said, yeah, that's the normal people that believe that. What do you want to believe? Oh, but Polly, this is a fact. No, it's not. What's a fact? A fact is somebody's opinion. And you can buy into their opinions. And opinions are a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. You decide what opinion you want to buy into, what fact you want to buy into. You can create your own and go, well, my fact is that the bank is loving to lend me the money to buy my home. What do you want to believe? Now, I don't believe that everybody wants to be a billionaire or a millionaire. I do believe that a lot of people, well, 95% of the population want to be financially free. They want good health. and they want happiness. They want better relationships, either with their family, their loved ones, their friends. That is our goal, to get to the end of our lives, or get to the end of our working career maybe, and to be able to keep living in a really great way. What do you want? I work with happiness, health, wealth. In your happiness is all your relationships. So when you start to, I'm just going to start with the money one. So you think about your wealth. When you are creating wealth, and you don't have to worry so much about where the money is coming from anymore, because you've sort of understood it, and you've got this circle going where the money just keeps coming in and you're able to spend and you can do whatever you like. How better off do you think your relationships are? Do you think you nitpick as much? Do you think you get angry with people as much? Your spouse, your kids, when they want to go away on camp, or they want to go to a boarding school or things like that. Do you think that you're going to be a lot easier and your relationships are going to be easier? Yes, of course. And then about your health, because it's negative emotion that causes bad health. So if you're not really in a negative state anymore, how much better will your health be? You'll find that you release weight very easily, that any condition that you have will start to clear up, and that you'll start to love yourself even more. Now, this is more to me than money. And don't get me wrong, I bloody love money. I love what it can do for me. I love what it can do for my friends around me, and I love what I can do to help other people with it. But when you are worried about money, you start getting angry at home. You start nitpicking. You beat yourself up. You get frustrated. Your health starts to deteriorate. Maybe you drink a bit more, smoke, do whatever. And because those things all cost a bit more money too, it even puts even more strain on the money situation. And then you see your friends going off on a holiday and they say, come with us. And you're like, oh, fucking hell, I wish I could. Just can't. So I always think it's a great thing to have a money goal. And it has to be an obsession. Whatever goal you're going after, it has to be an obsession. It could be that you want to build your own home. It could be that you want to go and live in another state, travel around Australia, become the best artist that there is, grow your business and get $1 million contracts, or $3 or $10 million contracts. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is for you, it needs to be an obsession. And you need to be able to focus only on that and nothing else. Yes, there are going to be circumstances, and yes, you might look at them as facts. But when you can look at the circumstances and not get emotionally involved and go, oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder what this is going to teach me. There's something in here that I'm going to need. This is why it's getting presented to me, and you can look at it with that energy. You are well on your way. And if you keep getting the same sort of situation, you've got to get better at something. Got a bit of work to do on you. Now, every coach I know, every good one anyway, has a mentor of their own. I know that without a mentor and without somebody to help me, even because sometimes you're blind to your own shit. Without somebody to point that out in me, I wouldn't have got as far as I am right now. And I know without one, I'm not going to get much further, because I'll tell myself a whole bunch of, like, it's not so bad here, hey? Come on, Polly, you can drink champagne, and you can go on holidays, you can travel business class, and you can do all these things. It's not so hard. Why would we want to keep pushing ourselves and growing and getting different? This is okay. I'm quite happy, and we'll settle. I'm sure you've all done that too. It's not so bad. I took myself out of it. And then in 3 or 6 months' time, something else pops up, and you're like, I want that. Okay, I'm going to go and do another training, or I'm going to go and do this, or I'm going to go and do something else. And that's how this all works. So at some point, you've just got to say, rightio, I am not going to stop and this is where obsession comes in, I am not going to stop until I get there. I'm going to change my daily rituals, and I'm going to start imagining and keeping with my imagination, because your imagination is the door, like it's like the little window to your future. Now you can keep looking out there and create this beautiful picture for yourself, or you can turn back around and see what's in the house and what's going on. I would say to you, keep looking out the window and keep creating the picture of what you want, because that is the door to your future. Now, imagination creates fantasies. Fantasy is the most playful, fun energy that there is. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this and we could do this? And what you're actually doing is you're grabbing a whole bunch of different thoughts and you're creating a whole idea for you. And with this idea, you need to get emotionally involved with it. Now, there's a couple of keys here to get emotionally involved with anything. You have to ask yourself a question. Am I able to do whatever I need to do this? Now, you've got infinite potential. You're able to do anything. Then the next question you have to ask yourself is, am I willing? Am I willing to stop doing something that I'm doing now and trade it in for something else to get me closer to my goal? Am I willing to do that? This is going to be the key for you. What do you love to do most? Just think about what is the number one thing that you love to do? Maybe it's going fishing. Maybe it's meeting up with your friends every second night, or Friday night drinks, or I don't know, whatever it could be, playing golf, playing tennis, whatever. And if I said to you, are you willing to do this? And are you willing to go after your dream? And you say, yes, I'm going to give it everything. I say, okay, you've got to give out this, and it's your number one favorite thing. Are you willing to give that up for a bit of time to create this dream life for you? You can go back to it and you can do it later on, but you've got to give it up for now. Now, this is where you're going to make a decision. Now, a lot of you are probably going to go, no, I'm not willing to right now. Nope. I'm not. Like, one of the things that I had to do was give up my my tendency to whinge and bitch and moan about things that were going wrong, because they were not going to be a problem in my future life. So I had to stop putting attention to them now. Now, when you have a pretty big habit of whinging about how hot it is, how much it is hard for businesses, and that life is hard in a small town, and that the government's out to screw you, and blah, 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 blah. When you've got this tendency to talk about that with anybody that sort of will listen, it's a bloody hard habit to break. But that was my first one to break. Now, are you willing to do something like that for you? Now, I wouldn't say it was my favourite things to do, but it was one of the things that just was so habitual for me. And the hardest thing to do was to start to go out and not get involved in any of those conversations. Because if my business was shining and we were getting all the contracts and getting everything that we put in for, would I even have that as a problem? No. So I couldn't put attention to it now. So if your goal is to maybe buy a $100,000 vehicle, I've got a client at the moment that's what they want to do. Now, that is double their yearly income, but they want it. Now, they're not allowed to look at their car the way that it is right now. They have to see the car that they're driving as the new one. They've got to have the feeling. They've got to see themselves driving it every time they drive the old one. Every time it breaks down, you've got to turn your attention off it and not get emotionally involved with it. If you want really great relationships with your family, you've got to turn a blind eye to the things that they do to piss you off and not get emotionally involved. So see, it's a tough gig. This is why it takes repetition. Now, repetition is your best friend when you're creating. Repetition of getting into your goal. Now, Mags, if we haven't done it already, can we put the goal card thing up? Have a goal card. Every one of my clients, I send them about half a dozen of these, and they have the ability to print off a whole sheet of them, and I have them everywhere. But if you can carry around what you truly, truly want and read it as much as you can throughout the day, you have an infinitely much better chance of bringing it to you than if you just looked at it once a month. Because what are you doing the other 30 days of it? Getting involved in circumstances. Your imagination is your key to absolute success. So if you had $1 million in the bank, and you can write something in the chat here or in the comments, if you had $1 million in the bank, how would you feel daily? If you had $1 million in the bank, where would you be spending your days? Would you still be living in the same town? Or would you be living seaside? Awesome, Claude. If you had $1 million in the bank, would you have a nanny for your kids? Would you have help at your home? What sort of car would you drive? I know you would, Emily. You know, one of the first things that I thought of when I thought, yes, I'm earning this money, where would I be? Well, I'd have several homes, not just one. I'd have several that I can just flit around to. By the beach somewhere, freely able to volunteer my time and holiday more. Exactly, Bridget. Kerry, if I rang you up and said, no, we're going to Ireland in 2 weeks, Kerry. We're traveling business class and it's going to cost you about 30 grand per person. Are you in? All of you. Could you say yes? Because if you can't say yes to that, even without the money, then there's a money paradigm that you've got there. You know, one of the first things that I heard when I had a money goal, no, don't get me wrong, when I started talking about money, holy crap, my family slammed me, my best friend slammed me, all you care about is money and blah, 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 blah. And I went and bloody hid under a rock there for a bit because I thought, oh my God, is this what people think about me? Oh Lord, I'm not just all about the money. However, have you ever tried to do anything without it? And then I got told the only way to help poor people is not be one. And I thought, yeah, well, that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching people how to have success and how to have a monetary success. And I cannot teach that if I stay poor. I have to be growing. I have to be the lighthouse. Because who would want to follow somebody that's teaching all this and they're poor? Really? Who would want to be listening to somebody that has explosive relationships with their kids and their partner and is getting divorced or whatever else? And no. And there's nothing wrong with divorce. If it's not right, go get out of there. Don't stay. I'm not pro or anything like that. I'm just, okay, you do what's best for you. But if I was in a relationship which was just all over the place like that, now, Zoom user, I don't know who Zoom user is, had several homes, beachside, city, country space, across the country. I'll be living my best life every day and holidaying when I choose. See, you've had all of that. And so what does living your best life mean then for you? If Zoom user, can you tell me who you are? Is that okay? Sorry. Now, the things with goals is you cannot make them thinking about anybody else. You can't make hey, Chelsea. You can't make a goal and think about your partner, your kids, and all of this, and, oh, what would they want, and what would they want, and that, because you're not going to be able to get that obsession. You can't get an obsession trying to please somebody else. You can be obsessed with trying to please somebody else, which never brings happiness for you. You've got to get into a state of absolute joy to be able to manifest things. Because it's joy, which is the currency, like the current of energy is joy, happiness, and gratitude. You cannot get into a state of joy when you're forever trying to please somebody else. You can for a little bit, but it'll be short-lived because you're like, I'm always doing what they want. They're getting what they want, but what am I getting? I'm the one that's doing all the work. And you'll start to feel a bit of resentment. Trust me, I've been there. Now, what do you really want your life to look like? What do you really want? And know that no matter what, you will bring it in and you will start to get some little ideas in your mind. I remember when I wanted somebody to help me out in my house. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to find somebody. I started advertising. And then one day I was just hanging out washing and I was like, oh, I should text this lady. Text her. She said, I was thinking about you too. And yes, I want to help you. Now that just doesn't happen. We both created that. Because what you are seeking is also seeking you. You've got to get into the energy of it. You've got to get into the energy of the end result. It was quite funny because I was hanging out washing and I wanted somebody to come help me with washing. Somebody like, geez, I could be doing something else that was so much more productive for me anyway. And don't get me wrong, I love washing. My kids, when I was down there in Adelaide, wow, the washing machine hasn't been used this much. Yeah, but I've got time. So think about it. What do you truly want? And get to work on that. Really get that picture clear. Can you sit there and create an image of what it is that you want? Same as like when you book a holiday. You book a holiday, you're not thinking about the plane having to fuel up and then they're going to have to do a service on the plane, and while we're up in the air the pilot's going to have to do this and this, and the people behind the scenes are going to make sure that there's food cooked. That's the how. All you're picturing is you sitting on the beach or being in the snow or on a cruise or something. That's what you've got to do. All the rest, the other bits, that all works itself out. It's the same process. How will you feel when you're there? This is the emotional side of things. Your emotion is your energy that goes out. So you've got a thought, which is an energy that goes out. You've got a feeling as an energy that goes out. And then you've got your actions. Now, if you just think about it and don't act, it's like a little baby just thinking about walking and not getting up. It's like me fishing. I wanted to catch a big meter barra, but don't put my line in the water. No chance of it happening. Now, I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. I can keep setting a date every time I go fishing. Today is the day. This is the day. And I know it's going to happen if I keep doing it, if I keep taking action. If I stop going fishing, well, yeah, it's got no hope of happening. So your action is so, so important. Now, there's two places that you can take action from. So you think there's three parts that you're going, you can think. So when you're thinking about what you want, you will start to get into that feeling. Now, you can only think one thought at a time. Now, as soon as you start to think about what you want and going and spending money or buying the house or going on the holiday or buying the business, you are going to come up with about 95 reasons why it can't happen. Trust me, I'm sure you already have. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, because if you're out there creating everything that you wanted at the drop of a hat, you wouldn't be on this webinar right now. It's because the circumstances are so strong and they take your attention away from what you want. So, I want to do this. Now, there'll be times that you make an absolute decision that cannot be turned around. You decide, rightio, this is it. I am doing this. And nothing stands in your way. You might get a few little obstacles. I know a few of you here have booked holidays. There might have been a few obstacles, but you overcame every single one of them. So you understand the process. So now 10 times that. 10 times that holiday. So say your holiday cost you 15,000. The next holiday you book, you're going to book a holiday for 150,000. How does that make you feel? Can you stay in that visual? Can you stay in that energy? Can you not wonder about the how? And like I said, it has to be something that you want. And you have to connect with it. But no, you are not going to get pictures that you can't do. But one of my holiday dreams is to get on Etihad Residency, which is a plane, and you get a whole suite. The bed, the shower, the whole lot. Like, who wouldn't want that? In my eyes, you may not. But then think about it. Are you just worried about how? Like, my God, a $50,000 air flight? I'm not spending that much money. But if you're earning $1 million a month, would you? Now, I've had moments in my life where I've sat there and thought, okay, this is not so bad. I'm not going to push anymore. I'm not going to go for any more. I'm just going to be settled here for a bit. Within a week, I'm picking at things, not happy. And Craig will say, Holly, you got a goal? I'm like, you need a goal. Because he knows if I don't have a goal that I'm working towards, I'm settling for what is right now, and that does not sit good with your inner being, because it's infinite, has infinite potential, and it wants so much more. Never ever settle. It's not a fun place to be. Don't ever listen to anybody else's idea of what you should have for your life. Create from within. And if anybody doubts you, that's okay. Don't let it in. Because their beliefs you can take on in a heartbeat. Remember, it's just their opinion. My little cat just cruising around on my bloody pink couch. A fact is just somebody's opinion. Make your own. Decide what you want. Now, you have to learn to ask for what you want to. We're reading, if anybody here is not in our book club and our mentorship, you should join. We're reading Ask and It's Given by Jerry and Esther Hicks. There is a certain way that you ask for what you want. And the most easiest way that I know is to ask as if you've already got it. I'm so happy and grateful now that. So I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a multi-millionaire. That's just today's thing, okay? Like, I'm so happy and grateful now that, whatever it is that you want. And you write this on one of these gold cards and you stick it everywhere, because your subconscious conditioning, what you've got going on as your multitude of habits, your program, is not going to be in harmony with that. Otherwise, you'd already have it. So you've got to condition it so it's everywhere. You see it everywhere, because it's not going to be an easy thing for you to grasp. Now, I want you to think about this. I'm just going to grab this cat, sorry. I want you to think about we can either go with an item or an animal. Yes, Bridget. And it's actually looking at what you don't have. So this is what pulls a lot of people up. You're going after what you want, and then you look at circumstances and you start looking at what you don't have. And yes, it's great what we've got, Yes, it's great to be grateful for it, and that's what you have to be. But as soon as you look at what you don't have, it's not a good feeling. So you're not allowed to look at that. You're only allowed to look at what you want and what you have, not what you don't have, because that is the negative. That's why you get the anxious feeling. So you think about it, when I'm going after what I want, and I'm grateful for everything that I've got going on, you're just going with the stream. You are just cruising down and everything is just going along in the most beautiful way. Then you go, oh, but I don't have this, this, and this. You're going upstream, and it is not a good ride. And it doesn't feel good. This is why, like I've always said, you have a book of success. And you start to read all the things that you have got, and you get back into gratitude, and it will get you back on the downstream. Where was I? I was going to be doing, oh, okay. So I want you to think about an animal, or I did this just the other day with some kids. Like, think about a pair of shoes. What sort of shoes would you really love? And they picked, and somebody picked these white pair of, I don't know what they were. And she said, oh my God, every second person that I see lately has got these shoes on, Polly. I said, because you brought it into your conscious awareness. You cannot think about something that you're not consciously aware of. So me, when I went and picked my Lexus, I was getting a silver Lexus. And I drove down the street here, and there was a silver Lexus, and I drove to Darwin. There's about 4 of them. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want a silver one anymore. So I rang them up and said, can you change it to white? Because I hardly ever see a white one. Now, I saw a couple, but not as so many, because I decided white was rarer. It's not, but anyway, it's probably the most popular colour. But anyway, you can see when you start to think about something that you bring it into your existence. And that's the same thing that you've got to do with anything that you want. Have it everywhere. Be conscious of it, and you will start to bring it in more consciously in throughout your life. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat if it does. So, yes, good, Kerry. Oh, good, Monica. Do you know what you want? Do you have it crystal clear of what you want, and does it have a monetary value against it, and does it have a time? Because if you put a time frame out there, and this is what gets so many people, they say, in 5 years, I want to be here. Well, I know that you can be well on your way in 6 months. What are you going to do for that other 4.5 years? You're going to stuff around. You're going to draw out the time to make it take that long, because you're like a missile, and you are a goal-seeking missile. But if you set the goal on this missile and it says, all right, you're going to go and hit this target, and you're not going to hit it for 5 years, it is just going to go all over the joint until that 5 years. Like, okay, now we can hit it. So I would say bring it into a 6-month period at the latest. And it's easier to bring the time out than trying to bring in a goal that you've set for 5 years, and then you're like, oh, hang on a moment, now I want to do it, because you will stop taking action as vigorously. You will start to get in touch with circumstances and play into what's going on around you, and you will hold it away from yourself. And that's not what I want for you. So today, get your imagination, get it working, get in touch with it. Spend some time thinking about what you really love, and put in the $1 million in the bank. So, because if you're picking a goal from the money that you've got in the bank right now, it's going to be a limited one. So come from the place, I've got $1 million in the bank, and that's the goal that I'm going to go after. Then play around with it, get it clear, put a date on it, and decide what you're willing to do. Are you willing to do what it takes? If you had to give up your most favorite thing, are you willing to do it? And if the answer to that is no, go back to your goal and check, is it really yours? Are you doing something to please somebody else? Or is it not big enough? Because a lot of people settle. They don't set a goal that is big enough that their soul or their spirit gets really energized about. So if it's not big enough, then you won't really, like, it's not going to change my life that much. So, nah, I'm not willing to give that up. If you have a health goal and you wanted to release some weight and your most favorite thing was chocolate, are you willing to give that chocolate up? For a lot of people, that's no. I'd say, are you willing to give that chocolate up until you've changed your mindset about what that chocolate does to you? Because if chocolate is creating a health problem for you, you got to change your mindset about it before you can keep eating it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep creating a health problem for you. Your body is a product of your subconscious mind. Everything is. So if it's not in your life at the moment, it's because you don't have the subconscious conditioning. There is a process to be able to put things into your subconscious mind, so then it naturally happens. It's just effortless. But it takes repetition. It takes time. And it takes a commitment by you. 95% of the population will not do this, because who would write the same thing 10, 20, 50, 100 times a day until it becomes their subconscious conditioning? Not many people. I just think, what's the alternative? I stay here. I make much better things, much bigger things. And so are you. And I want to watch you shine. But you've got to commit to yourself. Now, those of you that wrote I commit, hands down, well done. Now take the action. So tonight at 7 o'clock, there will be this Zoom room open again. And those girls will be working through the workbook. I could pop in, who knows? If you want me to, just ask me to, and I'll come in and help as well. The girls are doing a great job. But if you just take the knowledge, just do the Zooms and don't do the workbook, then all you're doing is gathering information. Now, last week when I was teaching the Aussies, I'd had a talk with somebody that had talked to Bob late last year. And he said, there's a difference between ignorance and stupidity. She's like, okay, I'm sure you're going to tell me what's next, Bob. And he says, yeah, ignorance is not finding out this information. Stupidity is knowing this information and not doing it. So it's up to you what you are. Are you going to be ignorant? Well, you've turned up to day one. Or are you going to be stupid and not use it? And I know you're not stupid. So resign yourself to the fact that it's going to take a bit of repetition. It's going to take a bit of effort from you. And it's going to take a commitment to not talking about what is, not getting emotionally involved in what is, and only staying in the energy of what you truly want. Now, I am so glad that I went live on Facebook here because I didn't press record. Sorry, everybody. Anyway, it's live in Facebook, so we'll have to download that and send it to you all. That's a bit of a bugger. Monica.
Hello. This is what I got in the actual download. That was from last month.
That is, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was what I didn't realise it was that. And I didn't know if it was the right book then. Or the
right.
Book.
I will get Maggie onto that.
Yeah.
Get her to fix that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Monica.
That's okay.
Because I got sent the right one. I got the right one. Anyway, I'll get Mags onto that. Mags, if you're here, can you please fix that? Thank you very much. All right, everybody, have a great day. The right one is under resources, Monica, in Kajabi. Okay. Awesome. All right. I will see you all maybe tonight, or otherwise I'll see you back here at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Oh, and the growth work. So doing your growth work actually puts you into the draw to win a 1 hour free coaching session with me that's broken up into 2 1-hour segments. So there's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're going to be drawn. So there's 3 of those up for grabs. So we'll draw the first one tomorrow. Now also, I'm going to draw the $500 for the people that were bringing in, doing the competition. Okay, so we've got 17 people in the draw. Hey Siri, can you please pick me a random number between 1 and 17?
A random number between 1.
12, Maggie Jones. You are a master manifestor these days, aren't you? You wanted $500 last week and you got $4.5 grand, and now you get another 500. Well done. Well done, Maggie. All right. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Mags are going to have to get the recording out of the live Facebook, so thank you very much. I will see you all later. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.